Good morning, T-Birds. Welcome to the online The Arrow interview. My name is Joshua Greenlaw. I'm here with the new Assistant Athletic Director, Ms. Durkin. Ms. Durkin, why don't you introduce yourself to the people, let them know who you are.
Hi, Thornwood, staff, students. I am Ms. Durkin. I have been teaching at Thornwood High School for 15 years. I currently teach mathematics. I've coached basketball for just shy of 10 years, girls basketball for just shy of 10 years. And recently this year, I became the Assistant Athletic Director.
Yeah. So Ms. Durkin is the Assistant Athletic Director. I wanted to ask her a few questions. So my first question that I wanted to ask her is what was one of the reasons that made you want this job as the athletic director, assistant athletic director?
So, and I'm going to be wrong on my dates, but I'm going to say approximately 6 years ago, maybe 7, I applied for the assistant athletic director, and I didn't get it. And that's when Mr. Bundy was the assistant athletic director. He did a great job. It's just something I've always wanted to do. Growing up when I went to high school, I was a three sport athlete, and I really admired one of my coaches, who was also one of the athletic directors. So it's always something I kind of had the aspirations to do. And this year, when it posted, I know that it posted maybe once or twice since I applied the first time and did not get it. But I had major life changes, so it wasn't an opportune time for me to reapply. And this year seemed like a good year to, put my name back in the hat and see if I'd get it. And it turned out in favor that I got it. And I mean, my life is kind of moving forward. My kids are a little bit older, where if I took them to 3 events in a day, they'd be a little bit more happy than they would have been 2 years ago.
So, you kind of elaborated on the process of getting the job. What was the process of getting the job? What were your interviews? What did you do to get the job?
So when it was posted, I applied, and then of course I had to have an interview, like any position that opens up at Thornwood High School, and then I waited.
So, to people who might not know what an assistant athletic director's job is, can you elaborate on what you'll be doing?
Things that I do know that would be part of my job are definitely supervision of sports. So attending games, practices, making sure that I'm available at school while practices are being held for questions. I have been in some meetings where we're talking about purchasing of uniforms and helping coaches decide on style and basically approving what they have, brought to the table. Another part of my job will be, which I have not had to do yet this year, so I definitely need to learn it, is scheduling events. Okay. Since most of our events have been postponed, the only ones that we are doing are the ones that are scheduled by the coordinator of all the schools in our conference. So a lot of it is very limited to what the conference is allowing us to hold. And those schools that are also open.
Okay. So what are some things that you are looking forward to doing in your position?
I think the number one thing that I'm really looking forward to is showing a presence up at events. So I want the kids just to get a sense of people do care about our sport, and I want them to know that we are watching them. We are trying to help them in any way we can, either get an athletic scholarship, going through the clearinghouse and all those different processes that students need to do in order to play at a college level.
Okay. So given your position as the assistant athletic director, and our situation with COVID going around, how do you guys plan to make the athletic department function better and make a good recovery handling this COVID situation?
I think that we're doing a really good job right now. I know that Coach Famby has set up a Google site for all coaches and athletes to make sure that they're aware of upcoming events, upcoming dates, different times when their season may start. We did do our contact days when we were released to do our contact days. Every sport that was on there participated to the best of their abilities. Some of our battle right now is parents not allowing their child to participate because of the COVID. And I completely agree with and support their choices. But as far as a department, we are still trying to keep our lines of communications open. When a sport opens, the coaches are right on their Google Classroom site posting, so their athletes know that they either have a practice, they have a tryouts, or whatever it is. I know that the season right now, the winter season, is kind of struggling because it's been postponed twice now for different once through the governor, the other through the our conference has set back and different guidelines. So a lot of it is just making sure the communication's there so everyone knows that we are doing our best of our ability to keep our sports on for the sanity of some of our athletes, as well as keep everything together if it doesn't happen anytime soon. So I know a lot of our sports have been pushed back so that they're aware that it still, hopefully, IHSA is hopefully that goal is to make sure that every sport does exist this year, just possibly at a different time.
Okay. I've had some athletes. Where can people who want to try out or get in contact with coaches and know the schedules, where can they find this information?
So there was a mass email sent out to every single student from Ms. Osterman at the beginning of the year. I can definitely make sure that an email is sent out again for those who might have deleted it, who have missed it. But on there, it did give every single person's sport, the season that it fell in, and now some of them have changed because some of them got postponed after the time it was sent out. But it gave a contact person for the person in charge of that sport. So their students' jobs are to go ahead and send an email to that coach. That coach can get them onto the correct Google Classroom site that they need so that all the information is. Another goal is that we try to keep some of the teachers informed who know, like I keep telling my kids, here's the coaches, go to this coach, email this person, or I've been contacting the coach saying that this kid's wants to be involved in that sport. I think our hardest one are the co-op sports, are the ones that aren't happening at our school, making those kids know what's happening at a different building. However, it's still a District 205 sport.
Yeah, because I know wrestling got pushed back. And I know some of my friends, I had to, I had to go around the neighborhood. Hey, that happened, So, can you further elaborate on? I think a lot of kids have been talking about this. Would there be any testing procedures going down when certain sports come in to make sure that outbreaks don't happen and stuff like that?
So I can only tell you what's happened for tennis and cross country because those are the only sports that have actually been open for competition so far. As far as basketball and anything indoors has been right now closed due to the governor of Illinois stating that he is not ready for indoor sports to happen. However, our outdoor sports are a little bit easier because you can have participants. So the difference between an outdoor sport and an indoor sport is you can have more social distancing and you're outside, so the air is not being trapped. So with that said, at any outdoor event, you are allowed to have the team, and the team has to, every single person on the team, including coaches, have to do a temperature check, and their temperature has to be written down and submitted every single day or every single practice and or competition to the athletic department. Once everyone checks the temperature check, they go as practice as normal. Now, if it's a meet, the conference has been allowing people to attend different meets. So cross country was able to have people attend their meet. They had to stay in designated areas that were away from the course and social distance from everybody else and wear their masks, no matter if they were around somebody or not. Same with tennis. I know that tennis at ours, we had people that had to stay distances from the tennis courts and they were allowed to stay on the outside of the courts as long as they were social distancing and wearing their masks from other people. I know regional guidelines were a little bit different. Regional opened it up to any participant that wanted to come, and at each school, when we were in our normal location, we could only have 50% participants max. So we did have a few different guidelines from regionals to conference, but very similar. Now with indoors, we're still waiting, but again, it would be temperature checks. There would be zero amount of audience members to be in the stand. So the only people that would be allowed to be there would be the actual athletes, coaches, referees. So,
and to parents, you brought up parents not letting their kids play or whatever. What would you say to those parents, or what are some reassuring things that you guys are doing to make sure that the student athletes stay safe?
First off, I want to say that I commend any parent that lets their child play, and I commend any parent who makes the choice to pull back for their own personal reasons. I can tell you that our temperature checks are daily. We have masks worn. If they are social distancing and they are outside, they do get to take their masks off at their choice, but it is also known to parents. Parents have to sign a waiver stating that they know these things are happening and that we are following Illinois state guidelines. But other than that, there's no 100% sure way to tell a parent, hey, we're following the guidelines, and a case of COVID outbreak might happen. It might not. We always hope that, we've provided every coach with hand sanitizer. We make it readily available so that it's at their sport, so they can use it at any time. We've closed off the building, except for when someone has to go to the bathroom. They have to get temperature checked again before they go into the building for the bathroom. They have to have their masks on. So we're doing everything to eliminate and not spread it. But of course, it's never 100% possible to say that it's not going to happen.
So, given the situation that an outbreak does happen, what is the school and what are your guys' plans on handling an outbreak type situation?
It's all followed through Illinois Department of Public Health. We have to, anyone who's been direct contact are on quarantine for 14 days. They're not allowed at practice. They should stay in the house. Parents, family members will be contacted. It's everything that's listed to us. The nice part is that the fact that the sports that have been taken have been outside, so that the social distancing is greater and the lack of being in someone else's personal space is cut down. However, a lot of our indoor sports like wrestling are more contact in your face. So that's why I think the governor's done a good, I shouldn't say a good job, but done the job of either postponing or waiting until he sees cases start to diminish before he really opens up those indoor sports.
Okay. Well, I think that's all the questions that I have for you today. I want to thank you for taking time out of your day for allowing me to interview you. And thank you for allowing time to interview. Josh Greenlaw. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.